Hi, I'm Jared, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to set up a flow manager in the Rainbird Cirrus software. Flow manager is one of the most important features of your golf course irrigation software. It ensures that your sprinklers will have enough pressure to operate correctly and that your pipes will never exceed their safe operating capacity. A flow manager will automatically adjust the scheduling of your irrigation programming so that your pump capacity will be allocated to different areas of the golf course. This allows your irrigation system to use the full capacity of your pump without going over the capacity of any one part of your piping system. So by the end of this video, you're going to know how you can assign flow zones effectively based upon your irrigation layout. So I'm going to start out by showing you a map that I've already made. So if you look, it starts up at this pump house up here, and then we can follow this main line down to hole number 5, where I've created a flow zone. Now I'm using this to illustrate one of the main features of a flow zone. As you can see, I have all the sprinklers running on hole 6, which I have not yet created a flow zone for. And I also have all the fairway sprinklers running for hole 5, where I have created a flow zone. Now, if you look, there's 779 gallons of water supposedly going through the course right now, almost all of which is on hole 6. So we have about 15 heads running on hole 6 in a pipe that's rated for 55 gallons per minute, and it's putting through almost 800 gallons per minute because it does not have a flow manager. So if you were to do this in the field, you would maybe pop out some of your sprinkler heads or destroy some of your pipes. Or more likely, none of your heads would turn on at all. Whereas over here on hole 5, I have the same amount of heads turned on. If you look in here, all of these are set to run for 10 minutes. But because of the flow manager, so far only station 1 is running, because if it were to run any more of the heads at the time, it would exceed the capacity that I have designated for this hole. So you can see by using a flow manager, essentially what you're doing is you're putting some rules into your irrigation software. So when your software decides to run your program, it will do so based off of what you've set for run times for your sprinklers, but it will do it in a way that complies with all of the rules that you set for it through the flow manager. And this is very important for making sure that you don't accidentally overload a certain part of your golf course by improperly setting your irrigation. If you use a flow manager correctly, that will not be a problem. Now, in order to build your flow manager, you're going to need two things really, other than the software. You'll need the Irrigation Association friction loss chart in order to know the capacity of each of the pipes that are used in your irrigation system, and you'll need a map of the irrigation layout of your course that you have outside of this program. I'm sure some people could rebuild their entire course from memory, but if you want to avoid making mistakes, it's best to use an actual map that has been produced for this purpose. Okay, so to build your flow manager system in your map, first you need to go to the compass icon on the top left corner of your screen, and then go to the flow manager icon, which is the red and blue pipes. Once you have it open, your course map will pop up. And the first thing you need to do is build your pump. So I'm going to try and build mine close to the layout of the course that we're building. So I'm going to click my pump icon, and I'm going to put it approximately where the pump house is, which is up here by the 15th tee. So once you click, the pump properties menu will open up, and you need to name your pump. Mine's just going to be pump house. Then go down to the level 1 and type in the capacity of your pump. Ours is 1,200 gallons per minute. Once you click OK, you'll see the pump icon is now showing up on your screen. Now that I have a pump, I'm going to insert some pipes as branches into the system. For our main line, I could do it as one pipe, which just ends where the main line ends. But because the map is kind of a visual medium, I'm going to use multiple branches to try and make it look like the actual pipe on this course. The software would work just fine if I put it in as one pipe, but for me, it'll make it a little more intuitive and easy to look at. So first, I'm going to click on the branch button. I'm going to click on the pump that I'm attaching it to, which is the only pump that I have. I'm just going to click down here by this little bend. Now that I've clicked, my branch properties menu comes up, and I'm going to give the branch a name that fits in this space and will fit nicely in the manager without being too difficult to understand, but also will be specific enough that someone who isn't me will be able to see it and know what it is. So I'm going to call this one 10-inch mainline south. And it's a 10-inch HDPE pipe with a DR of 9 or a DR of 11. So its capacity, according to the friction loss chart, is 900 gallons per minute. I'm going to click OK. And I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. And I'm going to move and add another branch just of the same 10-inch pipe over here so that I have something to work with. So 10-inch mainline south, 900 gallons per minute. Okay. And then you can see now I have a pipe that goes around this little curve, and it's approximately where the pipe would be on the course. Actually, to make this a little easier, I'm going to move my pipe over here. So there's a nice little node here for me to work with. So to move it, I just clicked on this arrow button, grab the object that I wanted to move, and drag it over. So I'm going to be demonstrating how to do this flow manager installation for you on hole number 5. So first I'm going to add in all of the pipes that are used for hole number 5. So I'm going to start with this branch, click on the node icon of the pipe that I just did. I'm going to come down to about where it stops on the course, which is by this big bunker. Click there. This is a 6-inch pipe, and I'll call it 6-inch south. The capacity of a 6-inch pipe is 340 gallons per minute. And once that's done, I'm going to take and add another branch. Click on the node that I just made again. I'm going to extend that one out there. This is a 4-inch pipe, so 4-inch south. Capacity of a 4-inch pipe is 160 gallons per minute. So now I have all of the pipes that I need to make my flow zones for hole number 5. So I'm going to start building the flow zones up at the tee. So first, all I need to do is build the actual flow zone icon on the map. So I'm going to start by clicking the flow zone button up here at the top menu. And then I click on the node of the pipe that flow zone is connected to. So this flow zone for the tees and the first fairway flow zone will be attached to this 6-inch pipe. So I click on the 6-inch pipes node. I'm going to put a nice flow zone up by this tee. And I'm going to call it 5T because it's a flow zone that feeds 5T. Its capacity will be 90 gallons per minute because it is based off of the 3-inch pipe that goes between that T loop and this 6-inch pipe. Okay? And the flow zone icon is now present on the map. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can show you the first way that you can build a flow zone on your map. So what I need to do now is add all of these sprinklers up here and stations to this flow zone. So the first way you can do this is just on the map. Click the Assign Station button, and then you click on the flow zone you're assigning them to, and then click on each of the stations that you wish to add to your flow zone. So I'm just going to add these 4 T stations. Now all 4 of these T stations are part of this flow zone. You can check this by clicking on the Flow Manager menu on the left, which will open up this expandable menu. It starts with the pump house, goes down each of the pipes, and then under this 6-inch south pipe, you should now find the 4-inch south pipe and the flow zone for 5T. Under the flow zone for 5T, it has T1, T2, T3, and T4, so all of the T stations that we just clicked on. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to do the first fairway flow zone. This fairway has 2 flow zones. One, all of the pipes are in a loop, so we could technically do it as one flow zone. But because this software does not deal with loops very well, so it's easier to do it in 2 separate flow zones based on which part of the pipe that connector is in. So the first flow zone is going to come out of this 6-inch pipe. I'll just move down a little bit so I can grab its icon. And I'll just put the flow zone up at the top of the fairway. It's because this fairway has this flow zone will have rough heads and fairway heads on it. I'm going to call it 5 fairway rough. And because there's going to be 2 flow zones and this is the more northern one, I'm going to call it 5 fairway rough north. Because it's based off of a 3-inch pipe, its capacity will be 90 gallons per minute. So I'm just going to assign these stations by clicking on them. So click the Assign Stations button, click the flow zone icon, and then click on the stations that you wish to add to this flow zone. For me, I'm going to go up to there. Now, if you go under this 4-inch or this 6-inch, this other now if you look under this other flow zone in this menu on the left, you'll see fairway heads 1 through 9 have been added to this flow zone. Now that that flow zone has been completed, we're going to add in the second flow zone down at the bottom. So because this flow zone is based off of this 4-inch pipe, we need to go down and assign it the flow zone to the end of this 4-inch pipe. We're just going to put it up here. So this is going to have fairway heads, rough heads, and approach heads. So we're going to call it 5 FRA. Its capacity, again, because it's based off a 3-inch pipe, is 90 gallons per minute. So now that we have the flow zone icon, I'm going to show you another way that we can add on the stations to this flow zone. So I'm going to go over to this menu and I'm going to click on the button to expand the 4-inch south, and underneath it there is this flow zone that we just added, P1 B4 FZ3. So I'm going to right click on that and hit Assign Stations. This will bring up the flow zone assignment menu. In this menu, you can simply select whichever stations you want to assign this flow zone off of this menu. So I'm going to scroll down to hole 5 so that we can find all of the heads on hole 5. And as I said, this one has the approach heads, so there's only one approach head. Add it. And the fairway, you see the fairway options here are only 10 through 14. That's because we just previously added heads 1 through 9, or stations 1 through 9, to the other flow zone. So because this will only add the remaining ones, I'm just going to hit this all button, and all of the fairway heads will be moved over to that flow zone. And then with the rough, I'm going to add all of the rough heads for this hole to this flow zone as well. Then hit OK. And you'll see it does not draw lines to all of the remaining heads. It just, they are there, but you cannot see it visually on the map. If you expand underneath this menu, you'll see it has all of these heads assigned to the flow zone. So if you do that and you don't see it on the map, don't worry about it. They are still there. Now all that's left to do is to build another flow zone for the greens. So again, click on the flow zone button, click on the pipe, which you want to attach it to. For this one, the 4-inch pipe. I'm just going to put it right there. And I'm going to call this one 5G, capacity again, 90 gallons per minute, because it's based off a 3-inch pipe. For this flow zone, I'm once again going to use the menu method. So underneath the 4-inch south, you'll see this flow zone, which is, scroll over, it says 5G. If I assign stations, this flow zone is going to have all of the greens and perimeter heads for 5. So I hit all on both of them, and it's done. And we have now successfully done a flow zone for all of hole number 5. If you want to check and make sure that you have not missed any heads, the way that you do this is you just close your map. Go over to the Station Detail panel. This will open up, and scroll over to whichever hole you're working on. In this case, it was hole 5. And then you click on the flow zone icon, which looks almost the same as the flow manager icon on the under the compass. Click on that. And any of these stations that have this information filled in on them, they are part of a flow zone. So according to this, we have added every head on number 5 to a flow zone. Okay, now that you've seen this video, you should understand the benefits of using a flow manager in your irrigation software. You should know how you go about building a flow manager in your software, how to put in pumps, put in the main lines and the branches of your piping system, how to put flow zones into your software, and how to add stations into your flow zones, and what you're going to need in order to accomplish this. Thanks for watching.